Hello there guys, it's Stephen here back with another transfer target. It's a new week, the internationals are coming to an end soon, so I'm expecting all these rumours will become solid, true facts pretty soon. I'm hoping that we'll see some players coming within the next 7 to 10 days. Maybe we'll see 1 or 2 players leaving. I've got a few rumours to discuss today, but I reckon it's going to pick up pace a little bit this week. I've got a feeling with no internationals to distract these players, with the players on the beach with their feet up with a pina colada in their hands, and the agents sat there seeing dollar signs in front of their eyes, I think we'll see some confirmed deals, and hopefully 1 or 2 of them will be holding a blue shirt pretty soon. And I think it will happen. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe for all the latest Man City news and transfers and everything else in between, because it's going to be a bumpy ride this summer. It's already been pretty bumpy already. But anyway, let's get into the actual transfer target. According to Sky Sports, City are finally prepared to bid 40 million or around that for Kyle Walker. This has been muted for quite some time now, and the rumours flying around that City want Walker big time to solve that right back problems, and that apparently he wants to come to City too. He favours a move to the north according to various sources on the internet, according to all the tabloids and so on. And that would make sense given his family is from Sheffield. I think this transfer has been in the running now for some time. I think the club have been carefully preparing their bid, and I'm hoping we do see Kyle Walker as a Man City player. I think we're going to struggle to find a more suitable person for the Premier League from Manchester City than Walker. I don't think he's the most intelligent footballer in the world. I don't think he's the best right back there ever was. But what I do think is that it'll improve this team no end. So I would happily see Kyle Walker play for Manchester City next season. There'll be very little settling time needed given the fact he knows his league so well. And he would immediately add a lot of pace and attacking ability to that right side of a pitch that we desperately lacked at times this season, given the fact that Navas isn't a right back really, and Zabaleta and Sani don't have the legs anymore. Apparently Spurs want it to be around 50 million, even pushing 60. I suspect that we'll end up going higher than 40 million, let's be honest. If it does happen, Daniel Levy drives a very hard bargain. I can see it being negotiated up and up and up until eventually we just kind of cave in and pay what they want, which I'll be fine with given the fact that I think we need him, so we just throw the money on the table. So, yeah, according to the Sky Sports, Wednesday is when we'll see an official Manchester City bid. Before then, we're going to have to be patient to see if any more news comes out. But I think this one potentially could be a goer. And next today is Alexis Sanchez. This is going to be one messy, niggly saga that's going to run all summer. I'm almost certain this isn't going to be resolved anytime soon. Apparently Arsenal, according to Sanchez's camp, apparently they're worried that they're trying to block a move to Manchester City because that would be an immense sign of weakness to sell to a rival, and they're trying to force him towards Bayern. But the problem Bayern got is apparently we're offering a much better deal. We're apparently willing to bid around 50 million to Arsenal and give Sanchez £280,000 a week, which is an eye-watering amount of money. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually true. I do think Sanchez probably wants to stay in the Premier League. That's just my gut reaction. All signs seems to point towards him trying to force that move, but he may be aware that it may be difficult to actually do that. Maybe he really does favour the idea of playing for Guardiola and in the Premier League and winning trophies there. Maybe he will end up going to Bayern too, but it does seem to point towards Arsenal hoping desperately not to sell him to a Premier League rival. I understand that. Wenger's been quite categorical when he said that he won't be selling him to a Premier League club, that he won't be leaving this summer. Though he's already started adding the caveats, saying things like, unless we replace him with a player of a sufficient quality. So he's already starting to make his excuses. So maybe they're trying to prepare fans for a life without Sanchez. I know it upset 1 or 2 Gunners in particular, including Mr. DT of Arsenal Fan TV, but I could live with that if we saw Alexis Sanchez playing for City next season. I'm prepared for this to take a very long time, very, very long time if it's to happen, because Arsenal will once again fight tooth and nail to keep their prize asset. Their man that they see as truly world class, a player at the very top of the game, and their talisman for a large part of the season. To add a little bit more mystery to this thing, Levante apparently have had a bid for Perez rejected because Arsenal want to keep hold of him in case they do sell Sanchez. I don't know why that would be true given the fact that he's a reserve, but you know, there could be something in that. It could also be paper talk. I think we're seeing now a situation where City haven't yet bid for either Walker or Sanchez, but I think this is normal. I think City's way of signing these players is that they approach the players' camp first and see if they are willing to move to the club. They agree in principle a deal with the player, his agent, and so on, and only then do we bid when we know that we can just kind of go on all cylinders and go for the man, go for the club, then get him to agree. Because then, if they City agree with Arsenal or Spurs or whoever, then the formalities of the actual transfer of the contract are easy. So I think City basically do it that way first. They make sure they get the thumbs up from the player and then only go for it. So it's going to be a very long summer on these two fronts. And if you needed another left back to follow, Grimaldo is back on the scene. We were linked to him a lot over Christmas. I remember that in particular around January, Christmas time. Apparently we were after him then, but now this is kind of resurfaced again. And Grimaldo himself as well said that he's 100% not sure if his future lies with Benfica. He's obviously an ex-Barcelona prospect as well. He's been very critical of Barcelona's La Masia camp, saying they don't use players from there anymore, even though they're good enough. And ironically, when he was coming through La Masia, guess who was there? Pep Guardiola, a man that was famous for his use of young players during Barcelona's reign. So maybe he already knows him. Maybe he already respects Guardiola that little bit more. He's obviously a very exciting young attacking left back. Very similar, in my opinion, to Angelino. I feel like if Angelino had the same opportunities at the same age, he'd probably be at a very similar level now. But it hasn't happened for Angelino, and it has happened for Grimaldo. So he fits the bill. But for me, this is just positioning once again by his agent, and I'm almost certain City's main targets are actually Mendy and Bertrand on that front. And on to the outs, and Mr. Kelechi Iheanacho. Apparently now Palace, Everton and Swansea are all vying with West Ham for our young Nigerian goal scorer. They all apparently want him for around 20 million. Apparently Kelechi wants to stay. He was very positive in his attitude about being an asset to the squad and understanding that he can't moan at all times if he's not playing football, which is true, definitely. But also, Kelechi, what I would say is look after yourself a little bit as well. Don't be afraid to demand first team football. Don't be afraid to force your way into the first team, because you need to look after yourself sometimes as a striker, because the only person who's going to get you games is you. I do respect entirely your squad attitude, and it's a fantastic attitude to have, but also you need a little bit of arrogance to make it at the very highest level. So as much as he's around, I'll be very happy. I also wouldn't begrudge him as well going to somewhere like Everton, Swansea, Palace, and probably scoring a bucket full of goals for them too. Whatever happens there, I'm hoping that we get a decent fee, because he is worth it. He's worth 20 million plus, because he is guaranteed goals and assists and everything in his games. One man who's almost certain to leave this summer is Joe Hart. Finally going to leave City, but it looks quite depressing. He said he would consider an offer if he got an offer first. No one wants Joe Hart anymore, which is strange how the mighty have fallen there. I am gutted that it's come to this for Joe, because he still has a massive place in there for me. I'm not going to say the Hart pun. But yeah, it's weird that a man has fallen so quickly. You would think, given the fact that he's homegrown, given the fact that he is still England's number one despite his form, that a whole host of clubs would be after him. What I can see happening personally is someone like West Ham taking him on loan, City paying half the fee, and then eventually his contract dwindles out for 2 years or whatever it is left, and we end up releasing him for peanuts or on a free transfer eventually, which is ridiculous given the quality that he is, given the fact that Begovic has just left Chelsea to Bournemouth for 13 million. Given that, and given what Joe Hart's capable of, given his reputation in English football, it'd be absolutely mad if we can't recoup something like that, or even not more, for Joe Hart. But this is City. Sometimes we kind of shake our heads at the outgoings at this club and don't understand exactly why we get so little. Maybe it's the big wages, maybe it's an antiquated transfer policy, but whatever it is, Joe Hart, I'm certain he's going to go somewhere, but I just had to include this given the fact that he said he's had no offers. So that's a weird one for me. But Joe, I still love you, mate, but I'm almost certain you're going to be leaving this City this summer, so I think a clean break is needed there, definitely. And another man who's never even worn a blue shirt, but is still a Man City player, Marlos Moreno's come off the back of a very difficult season in Deportivo, and apparently Querétaro in Mexico and Atletico Junior in Colombia are both willing to take him back from Man City. It's been a weird one for him, because he joined with such high hopes. Obviously, he went on loan to Spain immediately, but I spoke to Tim Vickery for Blooming Rising a long time ago, a very respected BBC South American pundit who spoke incredibly highly about Marlos Moreno. He said he was more exciting, accomplished more than Gabriel Jesus at the time. Maybe he was getting slightly carried away, but the point is he was saying he was very good. He couldn't have been that wrong. So for whatever reason, it's just not worked for Marlos over in Spain. And the things that I'm apparently hearing now is that City might even be willing to let him go already, which is crazy given what we paid for him, given the reputation he had. I think they might think they've got a bit of a dud and are willing to let him go. I'm almost saying we're not going to see him in a blue shirt ever, personally. I think it hasn't quite worked for him over in Spain, and maybe we'll sell him on and let him get his career going somewhere else, which would be a shame given he looks like a fun player. I've seen plenty of clips of him online, but it's just not worked over in Spain for him, and he has had chances. They've been pretty cooperative with using him in general. It's just not worked out for him, and fingers crossed he can get his career back on track. If that's at City in terms of on loan somewhere else or as a permanent sale, so be it. But it doesn't look good if I'm being totally honest for his future as a Manchester City player. Anyway, guys, that is the end of this transfer target. Who do you want to see talked about tomorrow? Let me know in the comments and so on. Let me know what you thought of the Loan Watch series as well. That's going to be a link here because I'll be interested to see if you want to hear more of that, because it's just interesting to see what your thoughts are in general on the content of this channel. As ever, thanks for all the patrons that keep this channel, though. I appreciate you all. You're all wonderful, as are the rest of you for watching. Subscribe, hit a big thumbs up if you want to see any of these players at City, I guess. And I'll see you next time.